What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chris, man. We are here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. Um, got a special guest coming on. His name is Brad Bigler. He's the SMSU's, which is Southwest Minnesota State University Mustangs basketball coach, men's basketball coach, I should say. And we're talking to him today about his why into sports, his why uh, choosing the college that he went to, and asking him some fun questions about coaching, and also some fun questions about himself. And for anybody that's interested in coaching or interested in hearing Mr. Bigler's story, or Coach Bigler's story, I should say, yeah, this is one for the ages. So definitely going to be in tune with him and talking to him and just finding out his why into sports. So without any further ado, I bring to you Coach Brad Bigler. Right? What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chris, man. We are here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. We got a special guest on this wonderful Monday, April 11th, 2022. Coach Brad Bigler of the Southwest Minnesota State University Mustangs men's basketball coach, and we are finding out his why into sports, finding out some fun questions about him as well, and also finding out his why he chose SMSU to go to. We're going to be talking about various things in here, including coaching and some personal stuff as well. So yeah, this is a great way to get to know him from just the sidelines. So without any further ado, I bring to you Coach Brad Bickler. Coach, how we doing today?
Good about yourself.
Doing good, doing good. It's good to see you on this wonderful Monday. Just want to first off say thank you for hopping on my podcast. I really do appreciate it. Um, and then next up, what I wanted to do was to ask you, how are you and your family doing during these pandemic times?
Good, we're good. Here, let me turn some volume up here. 1 second.
Okay, no problem.
Um, how's everything going for you?
Everything's good. Everything's great. My family's kind of spread out. So, I'm the only one here in Minnesota, but I got fam in Chicago, fam in California, New York,
Yeah,
Georgia, all over. So,
yeah.
um, yeah, knock on wood. Nobody has caught COVID, which is great. And, I see that we're slowly getting out of this with all the shots that's been, administered and things like that. So, it's a good feeling for sure.
Hey, what's your story? How'd you get to Marshall?
So I got to Marshall. I graduated college last year, Kennesaw State University, and I was applying for jobs, and I got five offers from different publications. I got two in Indiana, and they
Yeah.
kind of lowballed me on the offers, and I was like, can't do that. And then I got a Montana one, and then I got a Nevada one, and then I got a Marshall independent one. So they flew me out in November, and I took a visit, and I just wanted to see how the city was and meet my coworkers, and it was very different from Atlanta, Georgia, no question about that. So when I got here, my sports editor picked me up, and I saw two deer, and I was like, deer. So they were just like deer on the side of the road, and I've never seen like deer just sitting there chilling like that. So you don't see that in Atlanta, Georgia, or in the big cities. So basically, I just said this town, I really like it. I really like my coworkers. I like the people in the town. They're very nice, very friendly, very helpful. And I just saw that I could come here and write some incredible stories, talk to some incredible people, and make an impact in the community that's small, but
Yep.
also very cool for me to come here. So that's why I got here.
It's pretty cool, man. No,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So without any further ado, Coach, I'm gonna jump right into it. I know you come from Iowa, if I'm not mistaken.
yep.
Absolutely, absolutely. So as a kid, some of your aspirations, maybe inspirations growing up, talk about those, and also talk about how that gravitated towards a career in sports?
Well, it really kind of aligns. My dad was a high school basketball coach for 40 some years, and kind of grew up with that lifestyle. I actually have said this to a lot of people. When I was growing up, I lived in a gym, that whole thing, but was really planning on being a high school basketball coach and a high school teacher. And that was kind of the path that I was more than welcome to have. And because just appreciated that lifestyle coming from my family. And when I graduated from Southwest, I was, I needed to do some student teaching. So I stayed around the area, and Lakeview School District kept me around. And they gave me an opportunity to be the head women's basketball coach.
Right.
And that was something that I would never trade for anything. That was such a big part of my growth as a basketball coach, but also as just a person too. Just created a sense of humility. Just that ability to, you come out of college, being a college athlete, having some success, you kind of think it all, and then you quickly get humbled quick, and that was good. That was really good for me. Coach Steeman recruited me to kind of come back over as a grad assistant, and then that's where the college coaching thing just kind of took off. Where I know that my story is very unique in the college coaching profession. How along the way, in a perfect time, opportunities has presented themselves from being a volunteer coach first year out of college. Yeah, I was helping out with girls basketball, doing the girls basketball, but I was still volunteering here a little bit.
Right.
And then having a grad assistant position being available, and then the assistant job opening up, and then obviously the head coach. So I'm fully aware of how fortunate I am, and don't take it for granted. Know that being a head coach and getting head coaching jobs are hard to get, and just very thankful for my time here in Southwest.
Absolutely. I mean, you sound like you got it from the mud the way that you're talking, pretty much. Just grinded your way to the position that you are, and obviously well deserved. Anybody can go see and read about the stops that you've made as far as coaching and doing what you do. But yeah, that's awesome. It's an awesome answer to hear. Now, you talked about being a Mustang alum. Coach, I want to know, were there any other colleges that could have persuaded you from going to Southwest?
There was a Southern Illinois, Edwardsville at the time was a Division II school.
Okay.
And so I'm from the southeast corner of Iowa. So it's closer to, it's kind of like, the way I kind of explain it would be like Marshall is to Minneapolis, Fort Mass, Louis.
Okay.
So St. Louis was close. So not to say that we spend a lot of time in St. Louis, but just that would be kind of a comparable distance, maybe a little bit further, but similar. But so we're down there. So the Southern Illinois Edwardsville was one of the schools that kind of created an opportunity, maybe two. But I mean, I knew what I was. I was a lot of guys that look like me, 6-foot white dudes. So the opportunities weren't like flowing in, and I get it, right? And
right.
And so I had a great opportunity. Kyle Green was the kind of the head recruiter at the time, and then Perry Ford was the head coach. When I came up here, there was a young man named Chad Welk who I had played AAU summer basketball in Iowa City. There's a primetime league is what it's called for college athletes, and then at that time, each team had to have 2 high school kids on it.
Okay.
So you had a roster of a lot of college athletes, pro players, and then you had 2 high school kids, and it just worked out that Chad and I were the 2 high school kids on the same team in Iowa City, and so he came up here to school too. He was a year older than me, and so our time knowing each other, battled in a section championship game versus him. And then when he came up here, they started recruiting me, one thing led to another. And he was a big part of why I chose here, but also just how the coaching staff, treated me and again, I'm not sitting here saying like I was a highly recruited kid. You know, I basically walked out here and know that even walk-on spots are hard to get for guys like me. And at that time, I was a lot different recruiting. The recruiting process is, man,
I'm sure.
it's crazy now, man. I'll get 30 emails just today, and you're working through a lot of different angles, but very thankful for those guys, and that's how I got here through the recruiting process.
Absolutely, I like that. You know, a question just came up in my mind, Coach, about that. I would wonder what type of guy is a Mustang guy for you? Like when you're talking to people, what type of guy do you want on your team to represent your team as a Mustang guy when you recruit?
I mean, that's a good question. I think your ability to go with your gut instincts. Coach Smith and myself were college basketball players. So a lot of times when we're watching guys, we're like, man, would I want to hoop with that guy? You know what I mean? Like, is that our kind of guy? And would I enjoy playing with him? And I think, so when you look at Mustangs, you're obviously looking at the toughness piece. You're looking at guys who can be coachable, and honestly, just good, genuine people. And that's maybe kind of keeping it really simple, but sometimes it's just simple. It's that simple when you start off. And I think where college coaches make mistakes is sometimes they get so into the talent of players,
right?
They forget if it's the right fit for that university or that head coach. You know, me too. And so I think that's where, I mean, it kind of starts off with that. I mean, I think we do a good job of understanding our strengths and our roster. You know, we take a different approach than a lot of coaches. You know, we redshirt a lot of guys that come in. So we had 5 guys redshirting this past year.
Okay.
And you know, that's kind of a Mustang way is probably coming in a redshirt and trying to put on 10, 15 pounds of muscle. And then it just kind of slows the process down. And then it allows them to develop and be ready to go the following year. And then you just, you know, progress and get a little bit better each year after that. And so we're at our best when our scholarships are old and we got a group of guys who are in their 3rd, 4th, and 5th year of college basketball and usually they've kind of grown together. So that's the thing about us is you got to not only have the intangibles, but also you got to have some talent. You got to bring a specific skill set, right? So each position, right, you know, we're looking for. And then you also have to know if you're, you know, if Marshall is what's best for you. I mean, and then the first thing that people think about is, oh, it's a small town. Well, no, yeah, that's part of it, but the distance from home. Yeah, we don't necessarily want guys going home every weekend. We don't want that. Right? We want guys hanging out, being here. Okay. We also know that, you know, being a part of a Mustang is really connecting with community. So our guys, you know, they know the expectations before they commit, like the understanding of reading in schools, the teaching in schools, the mini Mustang, like they know that our ability to make an impact on the community in Southwest Minnesota is important. And if you're too cool or not interested in being a role, then man, you ain't for us. And usually that it doesn't get to that. Like you can kind of identify that
early on.
And yeah, so you kind of know. I mean, you just kind of know. Like I'll do FaceTimes with our recruits, and I'll purposely have my kids around just to see how they, you know, interact with them. You know, will they, you know, are they too cool? Are they whatever? Are they goofy?
Right.
You know, all those personalities kind of come out in a genuine way when given an opportunity, and so it's just important that you know, they know what they're getting and they know what the expectations are and how much hard work they have to put in.
I like it. I like that answer, Coach. I really do. It's a question that's worth asking because, you know, people sometimes do put up with some talented guys that may not be a perfect fit, right? But their talent sometimes usurps their mindset depending on the team or whatever. And it's good to hear that, you know, it's great to be talented, but there's a lot more things that factor into the game of basketball being on a team. And that's no doubt. So I love that answer. I want to ask you some favorite things. I got some favorite questions here. You give me the 411 off the rip, which is some of your favorite stuff, okay?
Got it.
Here we go. Here we go. Favorite music genre?
Favorite music, huh?
Yeah.
Well, it talks about just phases of life, right? When I was, I'm 20, 25 and below, I was, I was listening to the Tupacs and all that.
Okay. Okay.
But as you get older and you have kids, your music's got to change a little bit. Your personality changes. You grow with faith a little bit. I'm going to go with some Christian music right now. I like, I have my favorite people. I kind of have my playlist that I kind of listen.
Okay.
But no, there's a lot to it though, right? So your faith is one of those things. As the older you get, a lot of times you don't really know what that means until you are kind of in some stressful moments and have went through some experiences in life. And
Right.
Obviously I had some of those experiences as you get older, and everyone does. And so that kind of pushes me towards that side of music.
Yeah, Hillsong United is one of my favorite groups. I don't know if you know about them, but I do love Hillsong United. Is there a certain song that comes on when you're driving to work that you start singing? Like you just gotta sing to it, right? And what song is that comes on for you?
Well, right now my song is I don't need to play it. Oh Lord,
Okay.
by NF.
Oh, yes, NF.
And
Okay.
so it's got a little bit of beat to it. Like you are yeah, man, it just kind of keeps it real. But yeah, it's good. So he does a good job with it. And then, I don't know, you're always looking at other different types of music too. And
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of keeps it real. I would say, let's see, my daughters love God's Country.
Oh yeah, it's a good one.
A couple different versions of it though. Jack Cassidy has a Let Go, Let God right now. That's pretty good.
Okay. I like that.
And then I like some other ones too that are a little bit like not on the radar.
Right.
But I can go with them too. So
Okay. I like that.
Looking at my playlist right there. So
That's nice, coach. I like that. Okay. Let me ask you this. Favorite movie genre?
Favorite movie. My favorite sports movie is Perfect Game. Have you ever seen it?
The Perfect Game. No, I have not.
It's a golf movie, a Disney movie. It's a golf movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would suggest it. It's I mean, I'm not gonna say here it's gonna wow you or nothing, but it's entertaining. It's got a little bit of drama in it. You're rooting for the underdog, so to speak, kind of stuff. Just kind of a casual movie that kind of makes you feel good.
Okay. Two of my favorites as far as sports movies goes is Remember the Titans, for sure. And this one's a throwback, but Sunset Park. If you remember that.
Okay.
If you remember that one.
Oh yeah, I got you down on that one.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I love that movie. I do. Third question of the favorites. Favorite meal that you like to cook?
I'm not that complicated when it comes to food. I love grilling.
Me too.
So I'll go honestly some chicken with some teriyaki on it on the grill.
Mm.
And my wife has a variety of different types of potatoes, but I like the twice baked potatoes, chicken teriyaki, and we have a couple different appetizers that we do on over July 4th, and then on the side some jalapeno, stuff. And so yeah, we'll kind of get it down with the grilling. I'm gonna stick with grilling.
Okay, I like that. It's pretty good. Pretty good. favorite place you ever traveled to?
Been fortunate to be able to see a lot of the United States. I've never left the United. Well, I went to Mexico, I guess, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Florida Keys, man. We went on vacation to Florida Keys, and my wife set up like the perfect vacation. So I'm not really one to just kind of hang out.
Right.
I'm not, I mean, I'll do it for my wife, but so we got the 3 kids and my wife and I, we go to Florida Keys. So we're kayaking in the ocean. We're what is it, in the air with that whole thing flying.
Oh, paraglide. Paraglide?
Parachute. Yeah, whatever that is. Yeah, we were doing that. I was actually pretty nervous about that, but once you got up there, it was like, man, this is nothing.
Absolutely.
But then we swam with dolphins. We did this, we did that. I mean, it was a fun trip, and we went a little bit, sailing. So my wife, she knocked it out, and so we have funny stories from that. So the kayak one was kind of funny. So you are in a small group,
Mhm.
and half of the group's kayaking while half of the group's snorkeling, right?
Right.
And so we go kayaking first, and we're going through these little islands out in the ocean, and it's adventurous. So it's pretty cool, pretty laid back. Waves aren't going crazy, anything. So it's pretty cool.
Mhm.
We get back, and so now it's our turn to go snorkeling, and then they're going kayaking. All right, snorkeling is good. No, it's whatever. So as they're coming back,
Right.
they're all like energetic. They're like, okay, so what's going on? So we get out, I get out of snorkeling. So we get out. They're all like, man, we saw a shark. And so I'm like,
what?
So in my mind, I'm like, okay, that's really cool. You guys got, man. But then it took me a second.
Right.
I didn't realize while they're in kayaks and they see a shark, who was in the water?
Right.
We were snorkeling in the water. And I'm like,
right.
Man, if that shark would have came near me and I was snorkeling, I don't even know how I would have responded.
I think my heart would stop.
I would have panicked. I ain't gonna lie to you. I would have panicked. And so we got a lot of funny stories, parasailing to that. Just good. It was a good time. And then, just being able to hang out on the beach. Again, I'm not necessarily that guy, but yeah, it was good. It was a relaxing, but yet entertaining vacation.
Yeah, that sounds like it, Coach. It does. Fun fact before I get to the last favorite. Never been to Florida. And it's crazy because I came from Atlanta, Georgia, and I was there for several years, and I never went to Florida while I was there. And I was like, oh my gosh. So this story definitely has me intrigued about going to Florida because I'm a water type of guy. I love beaches.
Yep.
I love that. So definitely, I like that.
Florida Keys.
Florida Keys. I'll keep that in mind. I appreciate it. Last of the favorite alcoholic drink.
I'm kind of let's see here, a Bloody Mary type guy.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'll do a Bloody Mary on Sundays and kind of kick it back and watch them or whatever, be outside grilling or whatever. So Bloody Mary, that's my call.
All right. I'm a Hennessy guy. Definitely like Hennessy. So anything Hennessy and Coke, and I'm also a vodka guy when I go light. I try not to mix light and dark, but because that's a deadly combination when you do that. But Hennessy or vodka, that's for sure. Okay. We talked about coaching. I want to know from your first job that you talked about having at Lakeview, right? And the job that you have now. What do you remember about coaching on your first job that you learned that you now take with you at your job now? Like the growth. You talk about the growth of coaching. What have you learned along the way?
I would say over my years, I've realized coaching ladies, coaching college men, and now coaching at times my children, right? So my daughter kind of for about a few years there as a youth, and then now my son as a youth. And so what I would say is that it is amazing, and people don't necessarily believe me, but basketball is basketball. The same mistakes that a fifth grade boy will make, an eighth grade girl will make, a varsity girl will make and a college basketball guy will make. Now, they just do it at different paces, but a lot of times basketball is basketball, like the footwork, the fundamentals, the understanding of defensive concepts or team defensive concepts. And then offensively, the same mistakes of poor shot selection, like what the heck are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like bad shots. And then the turnovers too. I mean, silly turnovers happen at all ages. And so just one thing that I realized along the way is that, sometimes it's really not as complicated as you think. But teaching a certain brand of basketball is what we try to do. And we teach the game from a fundamental standpoint from our feet up. And so we are doing so much with our feet and our balance. And usually when you can have that balance, like what we're talking about, that allows you then to be able to do the advanced moves and to pick them up fast. And so that's a big thing, just the fundamental piece, the discipline, and just the understanding of kind of three things: shot selection, and then defensively, how to protect the rim, like how to help each other out.
Right.
And those are two of the big ones that, you if you can do those two things right, you got a chance.
I like that. Okay. Coach, this next question has to do with the work life and social life balance, but also mental health, and not just with you, but with the players that you coach. Obviously, it's becoming more prevalent in our society that people are starting to speak out against mental health because it's starting to become more important now more than ever. People are having breakdowns, not just mentally, but physically. Now, obviously, you said you have 3 kids, you have a family, you're a coach, but you also are pretty much like a father figure almost to a lot of your players, and your staff as well. How do you advocate work life and social life balance and also maintaining good mental health to your players, but also still do it in your life as well?
I mean, that's you don't ever have that totally figured out. I think that's one of those things where that's a daily challenge, and you try to be consistent, you try to create routines that allow you to be successful in all those different areas. But I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, there are times during the season, basketball is going to take priority. And then there's different times of the year where your family is going to take priority. And I always thought, from a coach's perspective, a lot of people have heard me talk about this, but you got to earn coaches points. And so what I mean by coaches points is when with your family, with your wife, when you know that you're going to have a busy time and you're going to be gone, man, you got to work early. And so you got to do extra things early to kind of build up some coaches points, so that time where then you are gone or not around, you got some coaches points. So then you're not like on empty, you're not in red. And then so that allows for your wife and your family to to understand that, where priorities lie at different times of the year. But I would say from a player's perspective, for me, just for them to see me around my family is important. For them to see how I interact with our kids, to see me at times choosing the family over them, I think, but then also explaining why or what we're doing.
Right.
It just kind of all comes back to communication. I think our guys, when they're recruited here, kind of understand those values, and they know, they know we're, Coach Smith has a young family. Coach Luco this past year has a young family. I have a young family. So, I mean, there are times where, the families are gonna take, precedence over those guys, and those guys, I think, have always understood that. They understand why, and that's just proper communication. And then there's just so much with this experience, this college experience. I mean, our guys, that mental health piece is a big deal. And I think for us, when you can create structure for them, and you can not only challenge them, on the basketball court, but in the weight training and then conditioning, but also in the academics. And so there's a lot. So kind of creating structure allows for them to then be successful too, because now they're not their mind doesn't have time to wander. Like their mind is busy, they're working, they're progressing, they're developing. And then I think the biggest tough times are when it gets really quiet and it gets really slow. And
Right.
then the people lack motivation. And then that trickles to other things. And all of a sudden now, day and mental health becomes a factor when your sleeping habits are bad, when your diet, like you're all of a sudden your diet habits are bad, and you're just putting crap in your body. That's just not going to be healthy. And then just obviously social decision making. So, I mean, so our guys, when we can be consistent, that mental health thing has not been a major factor, thankfully for us, for our program. But I think a lot of it comes back to, who you bring in the program, but also, just that overall presence of how to mentor and how for them to take ownership. That's probably where she should have started. Is just there's a growth process of going from a high school kid to a college kid to becoming a man. And
Right.
a lot of times college guys think they're men. Well, you're really not probably a man yet. Like you still are playing video games. You're still like there's no one reliable. You're not reliable for anybody, right?
Right.
And kind of one way of looking at it is when you have other people that are relying on you, then you have to do man things. Like then you have to sacrifice. And and when you're never having to sacrifice as a college kid, I think you miss out on some of those life lessons. And so we force our guys to sacrifice. We force our guys to understand and have an awareness of the decisions. And so a lot of times our guys, when they leave here after their basketball's done or their career's done, they've proven that they're kind of ready for the next step of life.
Yeah, once again, it's a question. I love the answer, Coach. It's a question that's worth asking. When we're talking about 18 and 22-year-olds playing on the team, and now we're talking about academics, we're talking about classes, we're talking about practice, we're talking about games, but we're also talking about social life as well. They want to go out, they want to have a good time, right? They want to do this, they want to do that, and they have to really be smart about those things. And it's all about really having that time management, but also making really good decisions. Not just for the benefit of themselves, but the benefit of the team. But also having that open door, right? Or having that open door with you and the coaches when something is wrong. You're going to have tough days. It's good to have not just, like we talked about, structure, foundation. It's good to really have your players come in and talk to you when something is wrong, right? Go to their family, sure, but as a coach, I'm sure you definitely have that open door policy with your players.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times it's, and again, it's, you have good moments, you have, moments you can be better at it, but I think it's just creating opportunity for them to have those moments where if they need help, that they can talk. And you say the open door policy, and yeah, that's obviously that everyone understands what that means, but sometimes it's a lot easier if you can approach them before practice when they're shooting. Yeah. Weight room or in a hallway, and then you just say hi and you just talk real quick, and right. and like sometimes it just opens up to a deeper conversation in the moment that they maybe need. Sometimes when you do the structure thing where you're like, all right, you're coming in at 10, you're coming in at 10:30, you're coming at 11. Believe it or not, we don't always get a whole lot out of them sometimes in those moments because they're dudes and they're going to come in and they're maybe they just don't want to talk about emotions or they got other things on their mind. And right. So you try to create a meeting times where you ask them questions, and some guys will, they'll open up and they'll be engaged. Some guys will be like, I'll give you like a 1-line sentence answer, and then you're good. All right.
Right.
Doesn't have to be, you don't have to make it complicated. And, right. I always say, like, we're not trying to look for drama, we're not trying to, but I would also say that I think your assistant coaches play a very big factor in that. And, as much as I should not take a whole lot of credit because the assistant coaches many times, that's the first contact for that drama.
Right.
and whether that's coming out of study table, there's just a lot more opportunity for your assistant coaches.
Right.
The age gap and just a lot of times they have to kind of be there for them as well. And Coach Smith, Coach Pileski, Coach Barnes, Coach Luco, like we've had a great group of assistants here that have, some have come and gone and whatever. I said a couple of guys there that are no longer here, but along the way though, they've all just demonstrated how to be Mustang and just how to be genuine, good people.
I like that. I do. Coach, I want to do this or that with people. And basically what that is basically I'm going to throw two things at you and you choose one or the other. Okay?
Go for it.
Here we go. Thanksgiving or Christmas?
Thanksgiving or Christmas. I got to go Christmas. Thanksgiving, we're never around. So I'm not, I got to go Christmas because I get a chance to beat my brother-in-laws in cards and get to be with the family. And honestly, at that point of the year, things just kind of need to slow down a little bit. I'm going Christmas.
Okay. What kind of card games do you play? I play a mean spades game.
Yeah, we'll play spades, we'll play hearts, euchre, you kind of name it. We kind of change up a little bit. We're depending on who plays, we'll play some board games like Sequence and
Okay.
nothing crazy, but yet competitive and so it's kind of fun. The one that you would have said is July 4th. If you would have said that week, I would have picked that one hands down. So.
All right, I like it. I play a mean hearts game too, by the way. Just want to say I do. I know I'm wicked with that Queen of Spades. That's for sure. Popeyes or KFC?
Say that again.
Popeyes or KFC?
Midwest people are all going to say KFC. It's kind of hard to go away from Popeyes, though. We just don't have it around here, though.
I know it.
That's a tough question because not many people understand Popeyes. And I'm going to go Popeyes just simply because I just think it has a little bit different spice and we don't get it all the time. So if I had the choice, I'm going to go Popeyes.
Okay, I like that. I like that, Coach. Drive-ins or movie theaters?
Drive-in or movie theaters.
Yes.
I'm pretty cool with just kind of hanging out at home, throwing in a DVD if that's what you're talking about. I'm pretty chill. Get popcorn, get the kids, watch an old school movie.
I'm with that. Yeah, typically drive-in theaters are kind of becoming extinct now.
Yeah.
But I've always loved drive-in theaters. I've always loved that. Just to be able to go there and with your family, bring some food and just watch a movie. I love that. Okay, now we got some sports questions. MJ or LeBron?
Oh man, whew, that's a tough one. I am. So my era would say MJ easily, right? By my age. But I also appreciate LeBron. If I had to start a franchise, it's hard not to start with LeBron James because he can play my positions.
Okay, I like that.
Start a franchise. Huh?
You said what?
If I had to start a franchise right now, today, and how the game is today, I'm gonna go LeBron.
But who is the player that you love more? It could be 51, it could be 49%, but who is the player that you love more?
I mean, it's hard not to love MJ though. Like, MJ just his ability to kind of have that clutch gene, and I mean, he had a lot on him. I mean, they both do. MJ, I'm gonna go MJ.
Okay.
Who I like more, but if I'm gonna start a franchise, I'm gonna probably say LeBron. Just kind of not really answering that question great, but I'm an MJ guy for life, no doubt about it. But I'm also a coach and know how to put, think you know how to put a team together. I'm probably gonna go with LeBron and just the game's changed, man. It ain't the same as it was back then. Like
no, it's not.
Style play, the pull-up jumpers, the analytics, those types of things. Like MJ's game, the pull-up jumper is not for everybody now. And or NBA teams don't even allow their guys to even shoot it that much. So you wonder what MJ would be like in today's game.
You are right about that. You are right. Okay, I like that. Peyton Manning or Tom Brady?
I'm gonna go Tom Brady, man. Tom Brady all the way. That one, to me, I guess you just want to appreciate greatness when you can see it. And Tom Brady, what he's done, it speaks for itself.
Okay, I like that. The sport you rather play, badminton or bowling?
Oh, dude, I'm badminton all the way. I'm good at badminton. I'll compete in that one. So
Okay.
I can move anything with a racket. My dad was a PE teacher, so anything with a racket, tennis, badminton, ping pong.
Racquetball. Yeah.
I can do it. I can hold my own.
Okay. Coach, this next one is chicken wing flavors, barbecue or lemon pepper?
I mean, I already said that one, but I'm gonna go barbecue. But man, teriyaki is kind of my sauce.
Okay. Okay. So teriyaki
variations of teriyaki, but yeah, I'm
okay.
a guy, man.
Okay, I like that. Would you like it wet or dry?
I'm definitely wet, like no doubt about it. I do know. So, like, we had this smoke fest thing here in years past where I was a part of. You had to like be meat judges.
Yeah.
I do have some judging experience, in the matter of fact, on the different types of meats and the dry versus and there's no doubt. I mean, at that point in my life, I would never have said dry, ever, not a chance.
Right.
Going through it, man, I'll tell you what, you can get some different dry rubs that are pretty good, and that meat eating contest, being a judge, really opened my eyes to that.
I hear that, man. I hope they bring that back in Marshall. I would love to go to something like that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Last two of the this or that. This question has to do with music. Which one would you rather do? Okay. So would you rather do God's Country or would you rather do Hillsong United?
I'm gonna go God's Country just because we got my two daughters dancing in the background, man. They
Okay.
kind of get down to it. One's doing gymnastics, trying to do some stuff, flips and whatever. So I'm just gonna go with the family on that one.
Got you. And the last one is baseball or football?
Oh, football, man. I'm a football guy, man. We do a lot of our basketball stuff with a lot of football terminology. I love when I was a kid, that Madden football, man. I was a Madden football to the death type guy at that point in my life. So I'm football all the way.
Okay, I like that. I like that, Coach. And I love Madden too, no question. The next question I want to ask you is about challenges. Now we kind of touched up on some work life, social life, and some mental health, but challenges from a perspective of being in this industry, and you can speak to a perspective of people out there that want to become coaches, no matter the team, no matter the sport. What kind of challenges do you face being in this industry, whether it is the schedule, whether it is the location, or, whether it's maybe gender-wise, as far as, not just male coaches, but maybe female coaches that want to get in this industry that really haven't been given a chance. What do you think challenges have you faced being in this industry?
A lot of times what I see is you have people who want to be a part of it, but aren't willing to work hard enough to be a part of it. And I think that this profession will challenge you. I mean, you're working 40 weekends a year at some level. You are working a lot of nights, and it's a lifestyle. And so you may not always be busy every day. But boy, I tell you what, those moments when you are busy, I mean, it's intense. Right. And I think getting into this profession, you're going to have to be prepared to not make a whole lot of money for quite a while. You graduate from your college, you got to find a way to land a grad assistant position. From there, I mean, you're not making money there. And then honestly, just because you get done with a grad assistant position doesn't mean you're done sacrificing yet. Like, I think you have to put yourself in situations where you can continue to grow and learn. And I think you have to be careful with what jobs you take. I think bigger isn't always better from an experience standpoint, but also putting yourself in a situation where you're not going to win too. Everyone wants a winner. And so there's a lot of things that come into play. Right time, right place is a big deal. I think I saw something just recently. It's not, it's obviously who you know,
Right.
It's more so who knows you, and who trusts you, who respects you. I think those things come into play. A lot bigger factor where, again, I'm probably not the guy to talk to in great detail with regards to, I've been a Southwest, right? So I've not been able to go and experience a lot of different other experiences or do the hot job hopping thing. I know, again, I look at the challenges that it puts on families. I look at the challenges it puts on, just your overall way of life.
Right.
That's where I've been very fortunate, where I say we kind of have cycles here where we grow with group and then we kind of start over. And every time that we do that, I always try to reestablish who we are. And then, but also, are we current? Are we changing? Do we need to change? Like, not being content with what we do, always trying to improve. Even though I've been a long time, I know that we have during each cycle, we've really improved a lot. We've grown a lot, and so you kind of want to continue to grow. And for those young coaches, I think that's the thing. Like, they have to understand that where you're going to put yourself allows you to grow. And then that allows probably for more opportunity, and just be very careful with who you surround yourself with.
Great advice, coach, on that. Like I said, there's people out here that want to be coaches. And like you said, they want to do it. It always looks appealing when you see it, right? But when you see it in the sideline, but once you in it, then it's like, okay, you really got to make those business decisions of whether or not you want to keep pursuing it or not. So it's always good to hear somebody talk about that. About their profession. I want to touch up on this, coach, and I know I read about it. It's slam dunk, don't drive drunk.
Yep.
It's something that I read about and something that has been going on, and I believe we're coming up on 10 years. This will be the 10th year of what happened. Can you touch upon what made you want to start that, and also what inspired that cause?
I think that's one of the things that kind of connects me with Southwest, but also connects me with Marshall. Our family went through a couple tough times with losing my mom, but also losing my son. And I think it comes back to, I think the only way to doing it is like when you have something tragedy, you kind of use that tragedy, you have to learn from it, but you also have to have it. If you can, you make a positive impact for others, and you try to help prevent others from making mistakes or growth or whatever. And so I think that's just one of the things our family's been able to do over the years. And this is one of those examples where this one wasn't probably as much on me as it was the conference office, asking if they can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Using the story, because sometimes, when you have rules are one thing, but a story can have an impact, and a story can create a version of rules when used correctly. And just, we all need those reminders in life. And this is one of those things where that specific one is just one of those reminders for the college athletes and the people that follow the NSIC. And again, it's one of those things now where, our family's in a great spot, or in a healthy spot. We got a beautiful children and kids. And we're in a great spot. It's just, how can we make others better? How can we help?
I like that. I like that. Thank you for touching up on that, by the way. I want to ask you this last question about advice. What advice has someone gave you or you have allocated to someone about being in this profession that you hold on dearly to?
This profession, man, I tell you what, it's a rewarding profession. It allows like a person to, I have a young daughter now. So, we're just kind of starting this attempt to being maybe potentially a college athlete, right? So, man, you maybe don't understand the impact. Like we can make a pretty big impact on a person's life, and our ability to financially support them, but also kind of have that next phase of life. I mean, you can be a game changer for a young man's life, and you can help propel them to another level where they can change the trajectory of maybe their family, right? They can traject of the others that they're going to impact. So I would just,
Right.
I don't know. I think there's so much rewarding experience coming out of this, and maybe I'm not answering this question right, but it's just one of those things where, I mean, this career, it has got so much emotion, the positive emotions of all the rewarding experiences, but also the intense moments, the challenging moments of failure, and the humility that comes with it. And then just the emotions of just little things. Like we just, we got a recruit here a couple of weeks ago that, the recruiting battles. So you have all these little emotional moments that are up or down, and being able to kind of handle those moments is important. I think how you communicate, even in the failure, is important. I think that's where you really see the true character of a lot of people. And so from our standpoint, this coaching profession, no question, if you have the ability to withstand it, I've had some great mentors up here at Southwest with Blanchard and Terry Colhane and others, but they've been able to do this thing for a long time. And I'm only 43. Do I have the physical ability to kind of finish this thing out? That's question number one. But two, I mean, there's a lot of things that come into play, and yeah, I mean, you kind of get to different phases of life where you have to kind of reevaluate everything from once in a while, and then the challenges of this and that, and man, if you're going to do this profession, you got to know what you get yourself into, because it truly is a lifestyle, and you have to understand the emotions that are come with it, and there's pressure, there's a lot of things, and so there's just a lot to it. I know I'm blessed to be where I'm at. I'm very thankful. I know we're going to hire a new athletic director here pretty soon, and excited to kind of take that next step. It was good to see. A matter of fact, the president's car was back in his parking stall today. That was good, because he had a heart attack here recently, and just to kind of see some of our leadership kind of getting reestablished and getting back into, getting healthy, but also adding new. I think that's a good thing. So the university can kind of keep taking steps forward.
No, that's great. It's a great answer. You definitely have to be able to deal with the emotions of a job that, wins, losses, in every aspect of team basketball sport that you play on your program, period. Be able to deal with that. Yeah, it is a lifestyle, but you also, like I said, you talked about being 43. I guess this is a bonus question that I would ask you. How much longer do you see yourself doing this, coaching? Because a lot of times people say, coaching is such a pleasurable experience, but it does take a toll. How much longer do you see yourself doing this?
I mean, that's a tough question. I mean, I think health comes into play, like we talked about. I think you kind of I've done nothing but coach So I'm kind of a professional coach, so to speak, for my whole career. That's all I've done is coach. So I don't know life outside of coaching, but I would say, you're hoping for a solid another 12 years or whatever. And then, you kind of get to that mid-50s, mid to late 50s. And I've had some, just had a coach here in the conference that stepped away, he's kind of what I'm talking about, that mid-50s. It's like, I've been doing this for 30 years. And, that last 10 years, I'm just going to kind of change it up a little bit. And who knows? I mean, I think when I get to that mid-50s, mid to late 50s, you know what? Hopefully I'm healthy enough to be doing it. And, but at the same time, hopefully I've financially put myself in a situation where maybe I don't have to coach, maybe I can do something different. Maybe I can, live a little bit of a slower pace of life on those last 10 years for retirement. And who knows? We'll see. I think I do see myself for doing it for quite some time yet, 12, 15 years, something like that. But at that point, who knows? I mean, I don't know. That's a long time for me. At that point, hopefully I'm a grandpa and who knows, maybe at that point, being a grandpa is more important than being a college basketball coach. I don't know. We'll get to those points when they come.
I like it. Well, it definitely is no time soon, which is great for us. We continue coming to the games and rooting your team on and showing that Mustang spirit. Coach, I want to thank you for your time. This has been a great intellectual conversation, getting to know you and your why in the coaching and why you do what you do and why you love doing what you do, I should say. Before I end all of my podcasts, I always ask this. Is there anything else you would like to add before we conclude?
Nah, we're good, man. I just appreciate you making these little efforts, man. I think when you can make the big time where you're at, and you can make it fun, and you can add these little things. I think that's just fun. I think it's fun for us as coaches to feel valued. I think it's important for our athletes to feel valued, and when you can do little things like this, that kind of adds an excitement, right? And we're always looking for those types of things where, we appreciate your efforts. We know that it's not ideal where you're working late nights too. And those late nights don't go unnoticed. And we're right there with you, kind of working behind the scenes, kind of preparations and doing those things. So it's you're a part of the student experience, and the kind of telling their stories. Your ability to tell their stories is just as valued as our ability to connect and build those relationships. And so it kind of goes hand in hand. When we've had really great sports at the Marshall Independent, that just creates energy within the community. And so I think, when you guys have those moments to kind of take those moments and to tell a story, man, it's all to it. So we appreciate it.
Coach Brad, we thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Like I said, enjoy the off season, and we are looking forward to next year's SMSU basketball team hitting the court.
Sounds good. Thanks, my man.
Take care.